Hello, my name is James and welcome to Mirror Domains, and this is the best of the decade countdown 2014. Now these videos have been going on and on, so I'm just going to get down to the brass of it. You guys get the gist of what I'm doing. You know, I'm going through each year, pulling out the top 3 and the 2 worst, and it's been actually kind of a fun ride. I do enjoy talking about movies, so what I'm going to do is pull up a little page here that will allow us to look at the movies in order of release starting in January. So let's pull that up and get started. And I'm just going to talk about the movies that were highlights and noteworthy ones that we should be talking about. Okay, so let's just start off. Open Grave, Sharlto Copley. That's going to be on the best list of the year because hey, that was a small little sleeper hit. Not many people know too much about it. He wakes up in a pit full of bodies, and it's kind of a discovery of who done it, why is he there, what's going on, and it's kind of a cool little mystery movie. I liked it. It's not the best of the year, but it's worth noting. Paranormal Activities, the marked ones. Now, this was kind of like an offshoot. This was between 3 and 4, or was it after 4? Anyway, this one is kind of like, it takes place in a different place, and if you like the Paranormal Activity, you may like this one. I didn't like it. Yeah, it's not the best, it's not the worst, so let's just move on. Yeah, I got to get through that. I can't stop for each one here, guys. Hamlet, 2014. Did I see it? Probably, but I can't remember anything about it now, so it's not that noteworthy. The Truth About Emmanuel. Oh, the Legend of Hercules. That one could be on the worst list of the year for some people because it was the guy from the Twilight, the big hunky guy that was kind of like in the background. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it was a terrible film. Could be on the worst list of the year for some people. Oh, this will be on the worst list. The Devil's Due. Yeah, Devil's Doo-Doo, I think I coined that term when it came out. It was just terrible. One of those, I think it was like an exorcism type film, a demonic possession film that just fell flat. That'll be on the worst list for definitely. Devil's Due. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Chris Pine. Yeah. They think that he's a leading man, and he's got the chops, but I don't think he was the right fit for Jack Ryan. Yeah, it wasn't that good, which is a shame because it had like Kevin Costner in it too. They had some interesting castings in that. It was a bummer it never worked out. Reasonable Doubt. Did I see that? Is that the one where they're interrogating somebody and Sam Jackson goes... No, that's a different one. Sorry. Okay, Right Along. Comedy. That could be on the best list for some people. It won't be for me. Kevin Hart. Yeah, Ice Cube. I thought, it was okay. The second one is where it really comes off the rails. Okay, The Nut Job. Nut Job. Never saw it. Okay. Scrolling on. The end of January here. There's a Van Damme movie that came out that I never saw. Frankenstein. That's going to be on the worst list of the year. I don't know what they were smoking when they came up with this one. This one was kind of like a weird retelling of it, but in a futuristic setting where he's been asleep for a long time. He wakes up and he's fighting like these other parademons kind of thing. It was just, Aaron Eckhart. Ooh, you really needed to replace your agent, whoever signed you up for that one, because, yeah, that was a stinker, for sure. Run and Jump. Did I see that one? No. Visitors. Sounds vaguely familiar. Can't place it. So obviously it's not the best and it's not the worst then if I can't place it. I probably feel like I should be, though. Love is in the Air. Never saw it. Okay. Got to pay attention to the timing here. That Awkward Moment, Zac Efron and Imogen Poots. Who else was in that? It wasn't, it was, the guy from Fruitvale Station that everybody likes. And why can't I remember his name? Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, that guy. You know that guy that everybody loves and I can't remember. My God. Ooh, Cavemen. Never saw it. Kids for Cash. Monuments Men. Now, that was a disappointing film, and what a shame, because it had a huge cast. I did like moments in it, though. There were some cool moments, but it was just really drab and boring in some parts. These historians try to save art that was being taken from the Nazis, and they get themselves into a heated situation. And it sounds cool for me just saying that, but it's was not executed all that well, which is a shame, because it was George Clooney who directed it, and he starred in it. It was just, I don't know. It was somewhat of a miss, which is a bummer. As I said, it had its moments, though. The Lego Movie, that'll be on the best list of the year for sure, because it was a surprising hit, you know? Not many people were expecting it to be that good. Hey, you got these little Legos. Can't be that funny, but it is. It had some charm to it, because they were drawing in from cultural influences that took a lot of people by surprise, and it had some heart. It's too bad the second one couldn't live up to that level. Yeah, it was like 5 years later you give us the sequel. Yeah, what were you thinking? And that was the best script you came up with. I'm ashamed. Vampire Academy. That could be on the worst list for some people. It won't be for me, though, because I actually liked that movie when it came out. And I remember I was doing my review for it, and I kept on calling it Vampire High or something like that. Right? Is that what it was? Anyway, I kept calling it by the wrong name. And, yeah. The Hungover Games. Ugh. God. Oh. Okay, Robocop. Not on the best list, definitely doesn't deserve to be on the worst list, although if you were expecting it to be as good as the original, then it could end up on your worst list. But for me, it was middle of the road. They just missed the mark, you know? This is one of those franchise movies where they were just kind of like, yeah, let's just make it all about Robocop and really, let's just go into his character. Except that's not really what the first movie was about. You know, yeah, RoboCop was there, and he was a cool character, but he also had the bad guys were like his tapestry that he was playing off of. This one didn't have the bad guys to play off of. It was just all about him mostly. And of course, Michael Keaton was sort of the bad guy villain of the main company, but we never got any of that stuff with like OCP. We never got into any of that stuff. You never got the vibe that, hey, yeah, they're corrupt. You never got that side of it, and they missed the mark. That was what they were missing. And that's all I hear from like the Crow reboot too, is that they're missing the mark with the tapestry around him. They just want to focus in on the main character, which is going to be a huge miss if they ever get that one off the ground, which it hasn't. So we can count our blessings for that one at least. Scrolling it down. Cuban Fury. Never saw it. Wow, this Winter's Tale. Yeah, that could end up on the worst people's list. It was like Colin Farrell, and he's like going through time, and it has to do with the devil, and Will Smith is like Lucifer. It's just a terrible film. Ooh, yeah, no good. Okay. Yeah, we're moving through this pretty quickly. 2014, Pompeii. Okay, this was the guy who plays Jon Snow. The only cool thing about it was that Kiefer Sutherland was in it. He was the best part. Kit Harington, right? They were trying to branch out now and get other things to do, and it just wasn't well done. I liked the cast and I liked the ideas, just wasn't very well executed. The Wind Rises. I saw that this one was, this was about the designer of a big airplane, from Studio Ghibli. I thought, it had some good imagery, but the story didn't resonate that much with me. But if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, who's like epic, then you all want to check that one out. 3 Days to Kill. Not so good. Although that did have Haley Steinfeld in it, right? Yeah, she plays like the daughter. Anchorman 2 could be on the worst list of the year for a lot of people. I would have questions about you if you thought it was the best. It didn't even live up anywhere close to being as good as the first one. And it just was like, yeah, what are we doing? We shouldn't have even tried to do this one. Yeah, that could be on the worst list of the year for some people. NonStop. Yeah, this was, as I said before, in earlier years, this is where Liam Neeson was really staking a claim to put out his little action films. And I like NonStop. It takes place on a plane, kind of like a Die Hard on a plane again, but with Liam Neeson. And it was a cool mystery as to finding out as to who was the bad guys and stuff like that, and how is he going to get the upper hand on them. I like that story. I'm going to have to watch that again, though. That was nice. It's not on the best or the worst list. It's on the notable list. Particle Fever. Never saw it. 300, Rise of an Empire. I like this one as a sequel. Oh, God, Eva Green. Eva Green is the best part of that. And if you want to see Eva Green, you will want to watch 300, Rise of the Empire. Not the best, not the worst, but noteworthy for sure. Okay, continuing on. All right. Jodorowsky's doing a documentary about, okay, this guy, Jodorowsky, I'm not pronouncing it that well, but he was going to originally do Dune. And he had all these fantastic ideas. He got like H.R. Giger to come in and, have all these crazy designs for the ships and the sets. And it was just kind of like, wow, if you got that off the ground, that would be really, really fantastical. We never got to see that film. We never will. But if you want to see conceptually how that was going into like early previs stuff, then yeah, that was is a very interesting watch. That may go on the best of the year list for me, for sure. Scrolling down. Mr. Peabody and Sherman. No, never saw it. Skinless. Did I see Skinless? The Face of Love. Never saw it. The Grand Budapest Hotel could be on the best list for a lot of people. Wes Anderson, right? Yeah. Hey, it had his flair. It had some very interesting moments, some funny moments for sure, but it has got his style written all over it. It could be on the best list just because of the art house nature behind it for a lot of people. I wouldn't fault you for it being on the best list of the year for sure, or in your top 3. Okay, Bad Words, not very good. I know a lot of people really liked it. I didn't think it was that good. A grown man taking place in a kid's spelling bee. Yeah, that's fun. That's funny, man. No, it wasn't. But it's supposed to be satirical. You don't get it. Yeah, I got it. Enemy is going to be on the best list of the year for sure. Denis Villeneuve. And I think that this is his best movie for sure. I think this is his best movie ever made. And that's over Prisoners and Blade Runner 2049 and such. I think this one is his best because it's a smaller film that studies this guy who sees himself in a movie, and then you kind of figure out, is it his clone? Is it his twin? Is he crazy? What's going on here? And it ends so abruptly. I remember being in the theater, watching it, and I was like, oh, okay. So, we're going to start the third act here now. And that's the end. And it leaves you with a moment going, what? And that's the end. And then that's the credits. And it's one of those movies where you kind of have to decide what's going on, but it gives you enough that you could fight a case either way for certain things. And it's just a really cool movie in that sense. But you have to be aware of the abrupt ending. And it's one of my favorite movies out of his for sure. And it was shot in Mississauga area, which is close to where I live, which is really cool. Enemy. One of the better movies of the year. Need for Speed. Not one of the better movies of the year. Aaron Paul. Again, it's one of these movies where he's coming from a TV show. He's trying to branch out. As a video game movie, no. It didn't really capture that essence. I think Need for Speed is mostly known more now for the hot pursuit angle. And a little bit of the robber, the guy coming up through the ranks of the underworld kind of storyline. And this one just, no. A lot of cool stunts, though. A lot of real life visual stunts with the cars. because they didn't want to do the CG work, and I respect it for that. That's the only reason why I would say it's noteworthy. Okay. Continuing on here. Where are we at? Veronica Mars movie. A lot of people may like it for that. I never saw it. Going at this speed, I'm tending to go over things. Divergent. This is the first one. I like the first one. It wasn't terrible. It was very unexpected for me because I thought it would just be one of those schlock movies that we had gotten before, like Mortal Instruments or whatever it was called. And, the ones that were not executed all that well, coming from like teen drama books. And it was just kind of like, well, it's got Shailene Woodley in it. And it does have a very stylized backbone of a theme, of rebellious teens. And it was much better than I thought. And I really wish the series had kept that up, but it just fell flat after that. It was actually terrible. It was unwatchable, and which is a shame because I did like the first Divergent. Okay, continuing on. What else do we got down here? What else do we got? Come on, something's got to jump out at me. Muppets 2. No, Tina Fey I like, but it was just kind of a weird movie. Breathe In. Never saw it. Wow. There's a lot of weird movies I never saw. Oh, Noah. Noah was Darren Aronofsky's take about the tale of Noah and building the ark. It was visually stunning, but they do take some liberties with it, and it could be weird for some people. But I liked it because of Emma Watson. Oh, yeah. Jennifer Connelly, too. Sabotage, another Arnold movie that was kind of under the radar for a lot of people, where his team gets killed or set up to look like they were dirty, and he's got to try to clear their name and figure out what was going on. It's a nice little film. Sam Worthington too was in that, right? Raid 2, foreign film, follow-up, one of the best fight scenes in a kitchen that you may see. This is something I gotta do, because I don't think all of the foreign films are going to show up. When I'm done this all, I'm going to have to go through with a comb and figure out what foreign movies didn't show up, and make sure they get on the list, because when we get to 2016, Train to Busan better be on this list, because, yeah. So I'll have to go through it again, just to make sure that we don't miss too many things. Afflicted, a small little, handheld, zombie-like, weird kind of vampire type movie. But it's not really vampire. It's kind of a weird movie at sometimes. Afflicted, I would check that one out because it's kind of handheld, very low budget. They did a very good job with that movie. And those guys need more recognition. Alien Abduction. I don't think I saw it, but it sounds somewhat familiar. Captain America 2 Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier. Yeah, that's going to be on the best list for a lot of people. A lot of people will argue that it's the best Captain America movie, if not the best MCU movie. It's not for me, though. It's good. I liked it. Don't get me wrong about that. But it's not the best MCU movie, and it's not the best Captain America movie, because I think that belongs to Civil War still for me. Because of the airport scene, guys. Come on. People like the drama, though. And, the conspiracy going on. Yeah, I can understand someone saying that it's the best, but it's not my best. But it's definitely on the best of the year for 2014. That's for sure. Okay. Scrolling on. Jinn. Never saw it. Under the Skin. Yeah, that's going to be on the best list of the year for sure. A very small art house kind of horror with Scarlett Johansson. And if you like Scarlett Johansson, let me tell you, you'll want to see this movie. You get to see Scarlett Johansson put on or take off some very... yeah, she's just very good. She's like an alien who seduces men to come to her ship to be consumed for their nutrients. And it's really, really weird. It's disturbing. Very disturbing. Yeah, that's going to be on the best list of the year for sure. Okay. Draftee. I was just watching some clips from this one, actually. Draftee is an underrated sports film because, well, it's a story where he's a general manager of a football team. I think it's the Browns. And it's predictable. Yeah, he's going to be wanting to make a trade. Nobody's going to trust him. And then he pulls off the big trade and everybody cheers at the end. That's pretty much what happens. But it's just cool to see how it all goes down. And if you are a fan of football and all of the stuff going on behind the scenes in management, upper management, then you'll definitely find that one to be entertaining. Dennis Leary was in that. He plays the coach. Good performance. I like that. Draftee. Joe was another film with Nicolas Cage that a lot of people liked. He's kind of like a guy who's down on his luck, and then he mentors a younger guy. It's not on the worst and it's not on the best, but it's worth noting if you want to see a good performance from Cage, and he goes out of his way to really help the kid. I liked it for that point. Oculus, Katie Sackhoff, and who else did it introduce us to? Somebody else famous was in that. Was it the girl who plays Nebula? I can't remember, but yeah, Oculus was good. I liked it, but it's not on the best. It's not on the worst. It's just noteworthy for that. Those actresses. Okay. 13 Sins. No, that one wasn't very good. Haunted House 2 could be on the worst list because it's just that schlock, gimmicky horror stuff that if you don't really care about story or anything like that, then yeah, no, terrible. It's going to be on the worst list of the year for sure. Fading Gigolo. Okay, this one was directed by, oh my God, why am I forgetting his name right now? But anyway, yeah, it's not worth talking about. Okay. It wasn't directed by Woody Allen, but it was an interesting film about an older guy who gets into gigolo work. Godzilla, re-release. No, Heaven is for Real. Yeah, this is when the Christian movies were really getting notarized, recognized. Okay. The Butterfly Room. Sounds familiar. Trailer Park Boys, don't legalize it. That's the last one I think I saw of theirs in the theater, and I gave it a bad review, which is a bummer because I think the guys who started in it actually saw my review. Transcendence will be on the worst list of the year for sure because, it was just awful. Acting-wise, directing-wise, story-wise. And I'm not going to ramble on about how bad that is. Transcendence, definitely on the worst list of the year. Okay. Butt Whistle. Never saw it. Curious title, though. Okay. Gambit. Last Passenger. Locke will be on the best list of the year for sure because it's just Tom Hardy driving in his car. And that's all you get. And it's all about his dialogue and how he's executing it. And it's an interesting movie. It's not going to be in the top 3, but it's worth noting and is on the best because of his performance. Because it's all about performance. And you realize then that Tom Hardy, he's the real deal. The Quiet Ones. Yeah, that one was bad. That one was bad. Not very good. Okay. We're in May. Okay, I gotta speed this up, guys. I'm sorry. Belle, it was okay. It was not that bad. It was interesting. I liked the costumes and the production design. Yeah. Farmland. No. Scrolling on. Come on. Amazing Spider-Man 2 will be one of the worst movies of the year because it was just solely bad in its execution that it ruined the franchise and it demanded a reboot almost immediately. You had such a great cast and you just totally fumbled the ball, and you could see the ball being fumbled on the screen. You could see it in the trailers that they fumbled it. This was Sony just really screwing up their franchise by having executive producers say, no, let's try this, let's do that, film this, spend a whole bunch of money on Shailene Woodley, and just cut her from the entire movie. It was awful. Walk of Shame. If you're a fan of Elizabeth Banks, you'll want to see that one because it's kind of funny. I'm I'm not going to talk about that one, guys. Continuing on, Chef. That was a good movie. That'll be on the best list of the year. Jon Favreau, John Leguizamo. He's a chef that gets kind of like put in his place by an uppity owner, and then he goes out and gets a food wagon and rediscovers why he likes to cook. It was just a really well done film. John Turturro. That's who directed that other movie with Woody Allen. John Turturro. Devil's Knot. Did I see that? Sounds familiar. Neighbors could be on the funny list for a lot of people. I thought that one was fairly funny too. Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne live next to a frat house. Fairly classic comedy setup. That could be on the best list for some people. Tarzan, middle of the road. Who was in that? Margot Robbie was Jane. That was no. A Night in Mexico. Something we all want, right? Oh, A Night in Old Mexico. Well, maybe we don't all want that. Godzilla could be on the worst list for some people because they billed it as a Bryan Cranston movie and it didn't execute all that well, and it cut away from the monster fights too much for so many people, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Kites, never saw it. The Immigrant. Is that the one where she's a singer? If it is, Matrion Cotillard. I can't remember her first name right away. Anyway, yeah, she's good in that if that's the one I'm thinking about. Blended, never saw it. Cold in July, never saw it. Gore Vidal, I never want to see it. Love Bunch, never want to see it. Wolf, Fatal Encounter. X-Men, Days of Future Past will be on the best list of the year for sure because this one, it was the last movie that Bryan Singer should have ever have done. This, it was his last good chance at making a movie, and the cast, I think, saved him. It was like this close from falling off the rails, but it was good enough, and it had some really cool scenes in it. Of course, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is the best part of it, and Quicksilver was pretty cool too. Best of the year for sure. Age of Uprising, never saw it. Filth, yeah, no. Maleficent, I actually like Maleficent. Yeah, Angelina Jolie. I still need to see the second one, but I will before the end of the year here. Night Moves. I saw that one too. The Grand Seduction, a nice little film about a doctor who goes to a small town who's suffering, and they need for him to stay there so they can get funding to help their town. Like a maritime town, a fishing town. Okay, Edge of Tomorrow is going to be on the best of the list of the year for sure. Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise, and of course the lovely Emily Blunt. A very underrated film. Like a lot of people missed it, how cool it is, because it deals with not really time travel, but it does, because we get to see him play with that trope, and it's got like that sci-fi alien kind of story to it. I liked it a lot. Rigor Mortis, never saw it. The Fault in Our Stars, good performances, but a little cheesy at times. If you want to cry, I think you'll want to watch that one because the ending is sad. Willow Creek, an indie movie about Bigfoot, written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. I missed that movie when it first came out. I wanted to see it, but it was so indie that it was hard to find. It's kind of like found footage. It's got some cool ideas because Bobcat Goldthwait is like, he was studying Bigfoot, and he was really into the lore and all of the stories, so he ties that into the movie, and it's kind of eerie at times too. I liked it. 22 Jump Street was a good follow-up to 21. It had some laughs at the end there with that one girl. I forgot, but anyway, it was a fun follow-up. Could be on the best list of the year for some people. Not for me though. Ivory Tower, How to Train Your Dragon 2 was pretty good. That could be on the best list for some people. The Signal, very under the radar sci-fi movie with, who is the guy in that? Brenton Thwaites. And, it says about this guy who wakes up and he's got like these robotic legs. He thought he was abducted by aliens, and he's just kind of like, well, what's going on? Hints of Dark City, if you are a fan of that kind of a movie. It's kind of like, what's going on here, guys? It's very weird. It's a mystery. You got to figure out what's going on. The Signal. Nice little film. Not the best, not the worst. Jersey Boys. No, didn't like it. Sorry, Clint Eastwood directed that. Yeah. Third person, Venus's Fur. Yves Saint Laurent. Did I see that? Can't remember. Move on. Drones. Jackpot. Never saw it. Siddharth. Sounds familiar. I just can't place. Snowpiercer. Could be on the best list for a lot of people. And it will be on the best list for a lot of people. And I was really harsh on it when it first came out because I saw a copy of it where the visual effects weren't finished. And I can understand the haunting nature of it, and that's the appeal. But for me, I just found like it was kind of like, I don't know, guys. It was very mediocre. But I can understand why people liked it. It's not on the best list. It's not on the worst. But if it's on your best list, I won't fault you for it. Transformers 4 will be on the worst list of the year for me, for sure, because it was just an atrocity. This was where we realized that, there is no coming back for Michael Bay with the Transformers. He's never going to get it right. And unfortunately, we had to deal with one more from him afterwards. It was just, so many cringeworthy scenes in that. Nicola Peltz. The only reason why you would watch that film. Deliver Us from Evil. Demonic possession movie again. Not worth really too much noting. Girl on the Train. That was Emily Blunt, right? Yes. Girl on the Train. Yeah, that could be on the worst list because it let people down. They thought it was going to be like Gone Girl, and it wasn't. But I liked it. I thought it was mediocre. Yeah, there we go. Mediocre. Tammy may be on the worst list for a lot of people. A lot of people may not like Tammy because it was just obnoxious. Life Itself, like Roger Ebert, and you will want to see that movie for sure. Continuing on. Okay, we're in July. Oh my God. Boyhood. Boyhood was worth watching. It could be on the best list. This was filmed over, 12 or 14 years or something. And it was pieced together of this child growing up. And we actually get to see him grow up. It was really weird, really worth watching for that aspect. It's long, though. It's like 3.5 hours. Dawn of Planet of the Apes was a good follow-up, a good sequel. That could be on the best list for a lot of people. Definitely for sure. Can see people. Okay, I'm going to be speeding up. I'm not going to ramble on about too many more movies like I have been. I got to speed through this. The Rover. This is where people said Robert Pattinson was really putting his mark down. I can agree with that. That one was pretty good. Sex Tape, not so good. Purge 2. Purge Anarchy. Yeah, it was okay. That one was good. I like that one because they had the budget to make it go wider, look at the scope of what's going on with people killing each other in the city and stuff like that. It was good. The Beneath, never saw it. Most Wanted Man, never saw it. And So It Goes, never saw it. Lucy, that could be on the worst list for a lot of people. This was like a script that must have been written like 20 years ago when they still thought that people use like 10% of the brain. That's not how it works. Okay, we get that now, but that's what they were capitalizing on. I like Scarlett Johansson, and I would say watch it only for that. Continuing on. War Story. 4 Minute Mile. Get On Up. Bozeman. Come on. You like that? Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, that'll be on the best list for a lot of people. Come on, it introduced us to Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket. Yeah. What else can I say about that one? It was a really good, solid addition to the MCU. It helped us with that galactic perspective. Yeah. I gotta try to get through all this. Step Up, All In. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not the best, not the worst. 100-Foot Journey I liked. It was about a cook that moves next to this rich place who has like 5 stars, and they're trying to learn from her. And yeah, I like that one. Let's Be Cops will be one of the worst movies of the year. I couldn't finish this movie, Let's Be Cops. And I'm only putting it on because I usually don't put movies that I don't finish. I got about 85%. And I was like, I don't need to finish watching this. This is just dumb. I can't finish watching this movie. I watched so much of it already and I can't finish it. It was one of the worst movies of the year. Not even close to being funny. Not even close. If you want to thumbs me down for that, then you know what? Why are you watching this so far? Because if you haven't been able to tell my tastes, then, I'll tell you when a movie is funny for sure. Like the 21 Jump Street series, Life After Beth. This one was about a guy and his girlfriend. His girlfriend gets killed and becomes a zombie, and he tries to care for her. Really weird, but noteworthy. Expendables 3. Yeah, no. If you want mindless action, then yeah, Expendables 3. The Giver. Taylor Swift was in that. I forgot about that. This middle of the road. Curiosity. It's a curiosity movie. Are You Here? Frank. That's an art house film a lot of people like. Sin City 2 was not all that good, but I do like that poster. If I Stay, nope, that one could be on the worst list. It didn't land. Okay, continuing on. Leprechaun Origins. Yeah, Ghostbusters re-release startup. Okay, so good. We're moving at a faster pace. The November Man I saw. No. The Remaining. Did I see that? Old Man. At the Devil's Door. Okay, good. We're moving faster through these years. A Walk Amongst the Tombstones. That one was okay. Fort Bliss. I never saw. It wasn't one of his better. This is one of Liam Neeson's weaker action films, and it came out later in the year, so it doesn't follow under his normal umbrella. The Maze Runner. This was another kids movie that youth movie that took people by surprise. I thought it was fairly good, and I never bothered to watch with the sequels because it went downhill from there. And I see one that's going to end up on the worst list of the year. Tusk, Kevin Smith. Yeah, that's going to be on the worst list of the year for sure. He's trying his hand at horror, and it doesn't land. There's some body horror in there, but it's comical. It's not disturbing. People praise the performances, but I can't. Equalizer, Denzel Washington. Nice little action film. I liked it a lot. Too bad the sequel wasn't as good. Who else was in that? Grace Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz. That's right. Okay. Annabelle. No. First Annabelle was terrible. Gone Girl will be on the best list of the year for sure because I own that movie. David Fincher, a very disturbing little film that you think is going to go in one direction and then takes you in a completely opposite direction, and it goes into weird, crazy places. Man, I like that one. Left Behind, no, not very good. Catch Hell, no. Dracula Untold will be on the worst list of the year for sure. Terrible, awful. Awful. Okay, guys, I gotta get through this. Whiplash, that'll be on the best list for a lot of people. I liked it, but if you're a musician, you know that's not how it really works. If somebody throws a chair at you, you're gonna throw one back, and you better be sure that that's going to happen. Birdman, that'll be on the best list. I think it won Best Picture too. That'll be on the best list. It was very curious to see how they were going to pull off this single shot kind of take movie. And the performances are good. Ed Norton was really good. And of course it has Emma Stone. Fury, good little war movie about a tank. How tanks were used in battle. It's about a tanking squad. Good movie. I liked it a lot. Book of Life. Nope. Watch Coco instead. exists. John Wick, that's going to be on the best of the year. John Wick. I think nobody expected this one to be that big. The marketing started like a month before it was released, and it was a major hit. Good action, good stunt, good fight choreography. Yeah. Ouija, terrible. White Bird in a Blizzard. If you like Shailene Woodley and you want to see Shailene Woodley, you'll want to watch White Bird in a Blizzard. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that you want to see her, then I'm sorry. You're going to miss out on some of life's little pleasures. Horns. No. I saw it. I didn't like it. Saw. Was that a re-release? Nightcrawler will be on the best list for some people. For me too, because Jake Gyllenhaal delivers such a disturbing performance. He's like a cameraman trying to get the scoop on stories. And he will go to any length to get those scoops. And he's really crazy up here too. Actress. Jezebel. Yes, I saw. Interstellar. It's probably Nolan's worst film, but it's not bad. It's just not his best executed. Theory of Everything. Good acting. A lot of people will recognize it for that. Foxcatcher. Disturbing. Very disturbing. Acting performances are definitely noteworthy. Not on my best list of the year, though. Mockingjay, it was okay, whatever. VHS Viral, that could be on the worst list because it was just off the rails. Babadook will be on the best list for a lot of people. A lot of small little horror indie films that, was really well done, actually. Even though some of the monster scares got a little over the top for me. Imitation Game, meh. Jingle Bell Rocks, Miss Julie, The Pyramid, Wild. Okay, that was Reese Witherspoon going into the one. Oh, Still Alice. That's one we need to note. Still Alice had a great performance by Julianne Moore. A very sad ending too. And it's you don't get to see the conclusion of certain characters, but it was very well acted for sure about memory loss. Yeah. Exodus, Kings of Gods and Kings will be on the worst list of the year. Terrible movie. Wild is just Reese Witherspoon. She's trying to discover herself, her inner self, and she walks this trail all by herself. Inherent Vice could be on the worst list for some people. Okay, we're getting there, guys. Hobbit 3 will be on the worst list for me, for sure. That was awful. Not very good at all. One of the worst ways to wrap up what should have been 2 films. So where are we? We're at Gambler. Yeah, not very good. Scrolling down. Cake, a lot of people like because of Jennifer Aniston's performance. Big Eyes, no. American Sniper, no. Because that is a gross misrepresentation. Look up Jesse the Body Ventura if you want to actually see the real story about who this guy was. Interview was funny. I liked it. Selma was good. I like Selma a lot. That could be on the best list of the year for sure. And the most violent year. It was middle of the road. I like the performances, Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. That was it. Okay, so wrapping up the year quickly here. I gotta just wrap this up as best as I can. I'm not going to give you the spreadsheet. My top 3 movies of 2014 are going to be Enemy is number 1. Gone Girl is going to be number 2. And let's just put in X-Men Days of Future Past as number 3. The worst 2 are going to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think a lot of people can agree that was one of the worst movies of the decade. And Tusk. Yeah, Tusk. That was not a very good one. That one was not that good. You know what? I'm changing the best. Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is the 3rd. So you got for the best Enemy, Gone Girl, Nightcrawler. Yeah, I like that. That's the best. Okay, so that's it. That's 2014. I wrapped through that rather quickly at the end. I know these videos go on, and that's why I'm just trying to wrap it up as quickly as I can. Okay, that's it. YouTube is recommending a video for you to watch right there, and you can see my latest one just right up here. If you like what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.